this meeting to order.
At 4:36.
4:36. So, can you have me one of the pack, stop the pack?
Oh, we don't have it? Sorry.
All right, so.
That's why.
All right, so first order of the business will be swearing in Batman's great-great-granddaughter, Emily West.
Great, okay.
So for y'all that don't know, Adam West was Batman. I don't know. You know, I mean, we're a little older, right? So I don't know.
I said Jerry West.
I would have said that, but
I caught on reruns.
Right.
I want you to know.
I did too. It was 1940s, so we were, you know, we were still rolling
The
around.
best part about it is I'm so young that I know Adam West.
I'm
love that.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I said me and Rick. We're probably some of the older statesmen.
I put you on more than you.
If you are now, by much. How old are you?
55. Are you really?
Okay, now by much, Steve.
I told you I was older.
You were. I've seen you.
Not by much.
Not by much.
Doesn't
Well,
matter.
So okay, now we're here to celebrate and commensurate Miss Emily West on the to the board committee, both full board and to the illustrious committee of committees, the financial committee. And so, Ms. West, if you will raise your right hand and repeat after me. I don't know. Okay. Can you let me get back. That way you can face the camera. I'll read it to you. That way the people can see your face. They can frame you. Okay, Ms. West.
Right hand.
You raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully
and that I will faithfully
discharge the duties of the office
discharge the duties of the office
of the Library Trustee
of the Library Trustee
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations. Welcome to the board.
Official.
You can sign.
You want to let her sign first and I sign?
That'd be fine.
Sign your signature, the person making the oath, signature of the oath maker.
And then I send that to the county clerk.
I hope that I will sign as the presiding oather. There we go.
Thank you.
Yeah, I had to sign myself.
And I'd like to
No,
motion to approve the consent agenda. I can never say that
I'm
one.
trying to approve concessions. We got concessions.
Yeah, I want to approve the concessions downstairs.
Okay.
The
I
consent
second.
agenda. Can you second it?
Can I second?
If he's in
Oh, if I
charge.
wasn't here.
I know, I just have a question.
I think Robert's rules technically would say no, that it has to be from the floor, but we've never really stood on ceremony quite that carefully.
I never second because I didn't know. Just in case.
There we go.
There you go, Michelle.
Yeah, what is with it?
She's ready. Oh, she fell off.
I think she wants to get home at 5. I think she wants to get home at 5, so she's depending on video and audio recordings.
Hey, Michelle.
So that's
So is it recording though, right?
Yes.
Oh,
video. Hi.
Oh.
Hi, Michelle. So I got to use my theater voice, I guess. Okay.
I like this.
Hello, Michelle. I got to remember to be real diaphragm.
Yeah.
All right, so first, no, I'm joking. So,
All in favor?
you did.
No, you have to say all in favor.
Okay, all in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye. There we go. All right, now written communications from the public.
None from my end, unless you guys got something that I didn't get.
No, not at all. Okay, any public comment? No?
Yes.
Yes, go on. Nice.
I had some conversation with people about, and if you could say I'm building my consensus, the community says wrong, but I talked to people about the library, what they think needs to go on the library, and the exterior and the inviting atmosphere or the lack thereof is something that's been spoken to. So I'll admit that's one of the things, because as the property committee,
Okay.
hopefully over the course of my term as presidency, I would like to put emphasis on the need to maybe spruce up the outside of the
Yes.
library so that it looks a little bit more inviting for the general public. I understand that we do not own the building, so everything has to be passed or approved by the city, but that
talked about, I think, a couple months ago?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of opportunity for that. I
Yes.
mean, one, just making the lawn look better,
Right.
would help a lot.
Right.
And we've also got, rebar rust coming down the columns outside. And I don't know maybe some acid wash or something to take care of that. Honestly, I think that a lot can be done in just power washing the lawns, which I asked to be done before our summer reading kickoff, but
Okay.
did not get done. So there's some simple things.
Yeah, and we may have to kind of, Prez, I'm kind of kicking to you, navigate that dance with the city, because I own the building now, so, desert tan isn't really a look. I mean, you would think it would be more festive to some degree.
That was the point that was raised, similar color. Obviously, our logo is a
Right.
digital spire of color,
Right.
and maybe bring some of that.
Yeah, can we even hang the logo, just get a plastic sign made, doesn't have to be lit, right, or lighted, just kind of,
Get it painted on the side.
a little decal here.
I know the city's had reservations about doing things like that in the past, but I will admit, obviously, marketing was probably different a little bit back when that was going on as well. Color and I guess what some people would call extra back in the day. Similarity is always best policy, a lot of people's practice, but it's just not necessarily how marketing works anymore.
Do we have space for mural? Can we partner with the Millikan University Art
There's
Club?
certainly on this end of the building.
Yeah, I was thinking that little
And that has
little
been,
side face.
and that was actually discussed by the board a few years ago, bringing in, being part of the Art Council's mural project.
Okay.
And,
Oh, yeah.
and this board rejected the proposals from the Art Council.
Okay, so I guess we can, no, so Ms. West, not this board, right? We're the progressive board.
There's not
It was a
a single
conservative
person
board.
that's currently on this board who was on the board then.
Yeah, the conservative board rejected it. We're more progressive.
There you go.
I mean, as far as the payment, I'm not speaking of political affiliation. As far as the payment.
I'll take the pink.
Well, we've already got new carpeting, new shelving,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
furniture getting ordered, so, yeah, this board's doing.
And they don't see that part until you come inside.
Right.
I know, no, I agree, I'm just saying.
Oh, no, I'm sure.
We've already started to work on sprucing.
I'll tell you we've kind of already gotten, this is really basically the first item of old business, is capital needs. And I can tell you my experience when I first came here.
So do you want to make that transition? Okay, so we'll close it. Was that the only public comment? Okay, first order of old business. And
Yeah, I mean, for capital needs, I mean, we're looking at furniture, and as Carl said, that is an interior thing, it doesn't invite people in. But I know that in 2014, when I interviewed for this job, I got here the night before, and I drove up here, and honestly, when I saw the front of the library, my heart kind of sank. And I came, and then I walked in, and I went, oh, this is nice.
okay, yeah.
Once I got inside,
Right.
but you got to get inside. So I do think it matters. We've had kind of a clash. There was a lot of controversy when the city upgraded our parking lot. A lot of controversy because there are many people who, even people on the city council, who eventually voted for it, but that thought you shouldn't spend money on aesthetics. And I would argue that you should spend money on aesthetics because.
Which is so funny, because they spent all that money on the aesthetics in downtown Decatur, with the sidewalks and the.
And then the argument was, it's just a parking lot. Well, before, for those of you, some of you may remember, it was like a tarmac out there that was filled with craters, and
Yeah,
now
the
that-
barbecue in that current.
yeah, and now you got the color and everything. I mean, just having some green space, I think is much more pleasing, and it makes a difference. But that's, for those of you, it's really not the agenda, but our designer architect will be here Tuesday, I think at 10 a.m. I'll have to double check that. If a couple of you want to, we're going to be talking about furniture.
Okay.
If a couple of you want to pop in, we can talk. We can maybe broaden the discussion a little bit and talk about some of this other stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it would be worth just kind of throwing a flyer out there, let them throw an eye on it. I would at least like to see what we can do to bring the discussion to be a part of the art mural. bring kind of, we can put that back on the table. I think we could really use the benefit, I'm just,
I feel like
my
especially with
mind.
like social media, if you make it good enough, that brings people to it to take pictures, you know, because people love Instagram, but.
The butterfly thing.
Yes, yes,
Or like
and so that
the
easily
movie
gets.
or something, like a link.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, just do the-
Yeah, I'll give you an example though, where, you know, when the city put up all these brown directional signs, they didn't do one for the library.
What?
And I reached out to a city council person at the time who said, this will not stand, this is outrageous. And then he emailed me back and said, you know, you guys already have a couple of those green signs. I'm like, but this is something the city spent extra money on to tell people where to go, and you left out what I think, and obviously I'm biased, but is an important institution in the city.
Yeah.
What,
Because we're all biased, because we're here.
yeah.
Well, I mean, when you look at it, I mean, it's one of the foundational building blocks of the city. I mean,
Right.
Hospitals, libraries, schools,
Right.
police, fire,
Okay, it's like,
you know, I mean, it's more, I mean, it's,
And the library, you would think would be something that is educational, fun,
Yeah.
opens your mind, fantasy.
cultural infrastructure, so to
Cultural,
speak.
I mean, it tells you all sorts of things.
and, I mean, it's the
As opposed to-
seed of the city's history. I mean, like, you can't have a city without, I mean, you probably can, I mean, it's just like 300 people, but I'm saying, like the city, if you had an established city, I mean, especially one, if you just go, I was for a sort of small time, I was part of the mansion board, and you let them tell it, why, this was Abraham Lincoln's second home, I'm saying, so, you know, when a city is rich in history as Decatur, you would think it has a bunch of history, and the library records a lot. I mean, the ladies down there at the bottom do a great job of recording that history. So.
I think remember, none of you guys were on the board then, but when, before COVID, and we had the architects that were coming and we were gonna revamp the entire library on the inside, they actually had a plan for the outside that was
Oh, yeah?
nicer looking.
Yeah,
than
so
what we have.
like I said, Tiffany will be here Tuesday, I'll double check the time. It'd have to be no more than two of you, but if two of you.
I'll be out of town.
If two of you want to stop in, we might be able to just broach that discussion about what we might be able to do on the outside and talk about it. And in the meantime, I could reach out to Jerry Johnson from the Arts Council and see if he's willing to revisit this mural
Yeah,
discussion.
because I think a good mural would go with, I mean, on both sides, really. You got the side on, I'm trying to think of how we're situated, but you have, like, on bookends, I mean, if you're looking out at the park, there's a side over here that's pretty up there. And
It
then,
was
Is
the
it
main,
Main?
it was the main street,
Yeah.
it was the main street section they were looking at because it's got the biggest.
it's the bigger landmass, right,
Yeah.
circumspect.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you stop at that stoplight, you slow it down, stare right at it.
And if the Arts Council isn't an option, the gentleman that did the Roger Walker mural, that I don't believe is Arts Council affiliated per se, his name is Will something. I've had conversations with him about doing big murals, I'm gonna say about the library, but there are other people, so.
If not, we just round up a group of taggers. I mean, I know we're not on the East Coast, but I'm saying this, that'd
There you go.
be, you know.
I mean, as long
Some-
as you kept it in a certain balance, you know.
He's dead, so.
All right, second topic of Friends of the Library. How are our good neighbors? Have they have they reconsidered?
We've got, the space is open, we've begun to move some of the things in. I would say, hopefully, next month when we sit down and talk about this, I'll be saying your store is open and ready for business.
Because I know at one point they were saying that they were trying to.
Workforce was talking about perhaps moving out of the door altogether, but no, they have moved upstairs.
So
Oh, they
workforce they
did?
did.
Yes.
Good.
They did finally?
Rick, the master the negotiator. Rick had to go in there and
I,
smooth that wrinkle out real quick. Yeah.
exactly.
Some cold press.
Exactly what that.
Cold press. You didn't have to use any heat, Rick. You a little cold press. I like it. Good.
Heat press Rocky Wilkerson.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
a hard thing to do.
Yeah. You made it. Some hard press in there, Rick.
Yep.
All right. So okay, Zach, is that it? They're moving. You said by next meeting, or
I hope-
next
I
week,
hope-
or next.
I hope by
Finance.
the next finance committee meeting, and I will hope that they could be complete.
how long has it been? Like 4 or 5 months now, right? Transition?
Yeah, it's been a lot.
Yeah.
It's been a
So
lot.
I'm sure they're ready to,
They are.
ready
they're
to go to
chomping
start
at
getting
the
some
bit.
revenue.
They're chomping at the
Jump,
bit.
regenerate,
Yes, they are.
Has there been anybody coming asking, hey, where we
All
can?
the time.
Yeah, yeah. They had a pretty good group coming in there buying books and.
Yeah, and I think they're gonna, I think they'll reach new customers just by being more visible
Yes, sir.
on the.
I agree, and being open more hours, because who remembers to go at that specific time,
Yeah.
once a month.
Now, are they still able to take in inventory? They just can't store it?
They have been, they've been selling online through a company called Better World Books. But it's more, a little more labor intensive.
Are they letting people, I mean, are people still bringing them inventory here in warehousing?
Yeah, what is that process look like?
So
I brought it
when
up.
somebody wants to donate books, they just back their car up out here by the staff entrance and unload it. And
Yeah, there's a cart
and then-
out there that you just put your books on.
And then when we remove books from the shelf, which we do all the time, you know, there's only so much space. When we buy books, we also remove books from our collection. We donate those to the friends, and they sort them up in this room on the other side of the wall here. But now it'll be downstairs. And
So are they gonna lose that room completely? And what are we gonna do with that room?
it's going to be our storage.
Okay.
Nice, okay. All right, any other old business
Yeah,
discussions?
I didn't put on here, which I'm not sure why, but I just want to update you guys on the carpet and shelving project. We were a little behind, but we're getting caught up, and actually the carpet guys are working ahead a little bit. Tomorrow, we're going to have the shelf movers in, they're going to move some more shelves around that will free up space for more carpet to be laid. All of next week, there'll be carpet laid, then the shelving installers are back. So we're just about finished with phase 1,
Okay.
about 3 phases.
That's
We're on
the big
track to,
Burgess dumpster.
yes, and we're trying to get him to bring another one because that one's full. We're hoping that we'll be finished right after Labor Day.
Okay. So is that, how far off of target are we? Because I think, wasn't it before, like we were trying to?
Well, eventually,
Before-
first we
before?
wanted to be finished in the fall.
Right,
So,
oh, wow.
it's
So we,
pretty- got finished last fall.
Yeah.
That was our.
he said no, that. You know, we've been off that dream a long time ago.
Yeah.
We moved off.
Yeah, but then it was looking like it would be early August we'd be done, so we're about a month off track.
That's not bad. That's not bad, especially given we were having some kind of supply chain issue.
There's still,
So-
and that's still an issue. When I was in Chicago at the American Library Association conference a couple weeks ago, I talked to the manufacturer of our shelving, and he said about 90% of his factory is new staff, and so things are moving slow.
Okay.
And but he thinks he so far. I haven't gotten the email, oh, your next shipment is going to be late. So I haven't gotten that yet,
Okay. So does that conclude the old businesses? Old business, I mean, not businesses. All right, new business. Check, register for June and vendor report. Does anybody
So
have
on
any?
the second page, the top things is Anna.
Can we rename this to the Jeff report?
The vendor report, yeah.
It says criminal mischief.
That's just, that's the first book that's on the list.
Oh, okay, and then that Stringer, you have her twice, and the second time is for a lot of money, so who is
Beth
Beth
Stringer is the publisher of
Oh,
Decatur
it's not that
Magazine.
much, sorry. It's cheap.
She's the publisher of Decatur Magazine,
Okay,
so it could have been
yeah.
an ad, one of them could have been an ad.
One
the other was
subscription renewal.
Yeah. I don't see the first one, I know the one on the last page was for
Yeah, I
subscription.
read it as a different price, because I'm not wearing my glasses. I was like 2,000 something, I'm like, that's a lot.
No, she's the publisher of
Supposed to be
Decatur
28.
Magazine.
See, this is how it's been far.
So we gave, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead.
No.
I would say Whitaker Brothers, Business Machines, paper folders, freight for paperwork.
Yeah, we bought a new paper folder, so it's where when you have thousands of trifolds to do, you put it in there and it gets it all done like that. So we've had it for a while, but it was on
for us?
That was our part.
Oh, that was our part, okay, so they paid for their
City
part.
paid for their part.
Okay.
Nice, okay.
And then what's Lingo's?
Lingso is our sorter, so our our return sorter, the conveyor belt
Yeah.
sheet. That's our service agreement with them. They come in once a year and do preventive maintenance. And get it all tuned up, change any parts that need to be changed, clean it up, and make sure it's running properly.
And then the Regions credit card, it just says computer software.
Yeah, it's always, and again, we are struggling with getting this to display properly. You're only seeing, so things like the Regions credit card, there's more than one account on that. There's going to be several accounts on it. So by account, I mean budget line. And we're only getting it to display the first budget line that shows up, because that $6,000 was for a variety of things. What I can do,
It says computer software.
I understand that that's only
Yes,
one of the
okay.
things. So there's going to be other stuff. What I can do on these, if I remember to, is just attach the invoice, if that'd be helpful.
I mean, I'm okay with just you telling me what it is.
Well, without having the invoice in front of me, I don't know. Not from memory. I can tell you, like, this month says mostly continuing education on it, but I think it's also got some, yeah, I just signed that one today, and I've already forgotten. But I mean, I think probably if we can't get it to display properly, the easiest thing is just to attach the invoice so that you guys can see what it's for.
What's PVC?
You know what, I looked at that right, oh, that's for the Library Speakers Consortium.
Oh, okay.
That's our membership, annual membership with them, and that is online, that's virtual speaking engagements, so it pays for a whole year of them.
Yep, I remember now you saying. Anybody else have any questions?
Yeah, so I'm just seeing, we reimbursed London Charles. Is that somebody who came in and did a speak for us?
Yes.
And we paid the travel?
Yes.
Hotel, I guess their accommodation?
Yeah, okay. And it was on a grant from friends.
That's what, yeah.
So we didn't pay that out of our operating
I
funds.
said, oh, so we're trying to move some of that Friends of the Library money?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, the grant, out of the grant.
Yeah, when I can avoid it, I don't like the friends making the payment directly, because the auditors always want to see,
Right.
well, you know what I want to see. You want to see where the money goes. So I think it's always a good idea for it to come through our
Awesome.
office.
That's fine. All right, anybody want to make a motion to approve? So any other questions to? Motion to approve.
Second. She second.
All in favor?
Wait to go individually.
Do it.
It's money.
Yes.
Okay,
So you can just point around and notice.
so we'll let Ms. Emily West, there we go. Carl?
Hi.
I myself, all in favor, ayes have it, so passed. All right, let's move on to the budget actions.
Well, we're in pretty good shape. At the end of June, 50% of the year is passed. As you can see, we only collected 16% of our revenue, but that's just the way that the property taxes come. That's most of our revenue, and it doesn't come until sometimes August. It used to be June, but we expect it sometime this month. We're below expectation on personnel. We're at 45%.
Now, is that due to just we have positions unfilled?
It's due to a couple things. It's due to partly some turnover, and unfilled positions, but also because we had some extra money this year, and remember we got
Have we allocated for raises?
At the last minute, we paid for the raises, but at the last minute, we got it right before you guys had to approve the budget. We got some extra revenue.
Okay.
We got notification of some extra revenue. So I put it on this put most of it on the personnel line.
So we have options.
So we have some options. We are hiring a new library assistant for the local history, and we've got possibilities, and we should probably begin talking about that in the other committee as to what we want to do personnel-wise.
So now, if we don't absorb that allocated amount, do we lose it? Or can we just, does it just stay
No, it's just,
allocated?
what happens is at the end of the year, we have a surplus, and then we usually move the surplus into the capital fund.
And then next year we just kind of.
And then you have to actually budget to spend from the capital fund, but.
But that's what I'm saying, I
Yeah,
mean,
we
do
don't
we,
lose the money, the money belongs to the library no matter what, whether we spend it or not.
so what I'm saying is, there's a projected expense for the next year, right? So if we say, and it's based off of what we have, or what we project to have, or extend, there's rats and robbers.
I was like, no one has heard that one.
Yeah. Maybe some cable settling or something, I'm gonna just let it say that. But I'm saying, so like, just, I mean, you gotta look at it like any other budget, right? A budget is part actual, part projection.
Yes.
So if we say, we have X amount of positions, we either project to have X amount more positions, or we hold and we project, say, a 15% labor increase. That's why I'm asking, if we don't, right now, I think, from what you said, we were 13 positions open. I think when we were first talking about bringing in the bus, we were like short 13.
We're short quite a few, I don't remember.
Yeah, I mean, that's,
It was.
I don't think that's cut and dry, in my opinion. That's a recommendation, recommended guidelines from the state.
And it's also just comparing us to other libraries of our size.
Right,
We have
right.
a lot of
But I-
personnel.
But to your point, we can still shuffle around
Yes, we can.
revenue to cover any increase, like positional increase.
Correct.
Okay.
I mean, it's all fungible, and so we can move between lines
Okay.
as this board sees fit.
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, that was just my.
So we're in good shape on library materials. We're a little bit overspent right now, but we'll be okay on that. The allocations are high because Greg, before he retired, changed our allocations in the middle of the fiscal year, or at the beginning of the fiscal year, if you recall that. He raised our allocations after the budget was approved. Well, that's quite a bit. It's, I think it was a $35,000 to the bad, $35,000 or $40,000 to the bad.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Plus one as he left out.
No, he did not. He did not. And from what I've been told by the budget officer, he thinks that those numbers that Greg came up with are the correct numbers, but he said it should have been done before the budget was approved. Office supplies maintenance, we're in good shape. We're insurance, we're right where we need to be. Building costs, we're right where we need to be. Cash position in our operating fund as of July 1, we had a little over $500,000. In our capital fund, just shy of $1 million. Now, a lot of that's accounted for, because that's where we're paying for the shovel and the furniture.
Okay.
And the shelving has not been paid for yet?
We made a down payment on it.
Okay. And is that because we haven't received all the shelving yet? Is that
Well,
why?
it's because it's not installed. You don't
Oh,
pay until it's.
it's,
yeah, we don't pay until it's
installation is
installed.
included,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, you make on capital projects, it's not, and you don't pay the day it's installed either.
So we net
come back to
like
the
net 30, net 45?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and you come to I think this one's a net 30.
Okay.
But it's also, they got to pass the
It's
punch.
contingent on there,
Right.
we accepted
Right.
the quality.
Correct,
So
correct.
that's a pretty sweet deal.
Yeah, so Cantoni, you can see we've actually used some of that this month. We haven't touched that in a long time, but we're at $58,000. Meyer Fund. And the Cantoni Fund, Emily, is a trust fund that is designated for books only. We were supposed to only use the interest. We got, since the interest was like 5 books a year, we got that. Our attorney went to court, we made a filing, and then we can have use the capital. The Meyer Fund is at 43,000. That is for local history, as a trust fund for local history. Memorials and donations. I made an adjustment to this before or after I printed this. We're actually at about $58 in that fund right now. So I'll get you guys to the full board. I'll get you that update. And that's good. That's money that's given to us
To be spent.
to be spent on books, and we shouldn't be making people wait. I've been telling them for years, let's spend this down, let's spend this down. And we're doing it. So my hats off to the staff, they've responded well to it. We are at a total cash position as of July 1 of $1.6 million. So as to any questions on the actuals? So as to my projection, so I'm told that I should never use the term surplus. I'm looking at unexpended funds at the end of the year of $214,000. That's a
So,
lot. And
I was just gonna say that, Thomas, is that?
I don't know that that's what we should do,
Right.
because we're already budgeting moving $200,000 into our capital fund.
Right.
So I think we need to have a conversation, maybe, I think I need to have a conversation with our leadership team and bring you guys some ideas of some ways, including talking to our designer about maybe something we could do to spruce up the outside.
Yeah, because I mean, that's, I mean, on an audit, I mean, that'd be kind of hard to explain, hey, we $400,000, we account, we didn't spend it, but okay. Did
Yeah,
we-
so, I mean,
Did we
and I've also
overestimate?
got $200,000 in here for security, which our scheduler still is, I think he's finally back, and I need to meet with him. Tertoka. Yeah, Tertoka was been on medical leave. I think he's finally back. So, if this board still wants me to move forward with full-time security, we've certainly got the funds.
Now, and I'm okay with it. I would still like to do it just because I think our librarians deserve at least that much. Just and me, I was always of the position it would be nice if the city paid for it, but looking at where we're standing on revenue and what we bring in, if we had to pay for it 100%, that's fine. But from what it looks like, I mean, we would only pay for the 100% for the second half.
Right. So for the first 20 hours, we're still split. The city
Right.
is still, so just, and like the background is the city is splitting security costs with us. Right now, we're 20 hours a week, and they're splitting it 50-50 with us. If we go full-time, and the city has said they're not prepared at this point to commit to splitting more hours with us. And I'm not prepared to have those guys walk over there to the city's portion,
Right.
after 20 hours.
Right.
Which is,
And so, I see what you're saying. So you're saying even though the city would be trying to get they would benefit off us paying for it because the guys would still just go over there.
I would ask them.
Even though the city
not to. I mean, I would
Understand
not
so,
to,
yes.
yeah. Which again, I think the city's well within their rights to say, we think 20 hours is enough, and I'm well within my rights to say, if I'm paying for it, I ain't gonna have them controlling your tenants.
Well, after 20 hours,
Right.
they'll patrol your tenants for 20 hours, and the
Right.
rest is just the library.
Right, and that seems fair to me. But I think we need to look at, and I've got, somewhere, I've got a list of some big ticket items also. One of the things I really want to get done this year is, somebody told me they got them Lowe's now, these lockers. So it's a whole locker. So it's 24 hours, it sits out in front, and you can come in, if you get your shift is over at midnight,
You can
check
check
out
your
the
gun.
library and scan your
Is that
library
the gun check
card,
lock?
and the locker pops open with your holds in it, so you can come get your stuff. Yeah,
So you mean like guns?
After hours services, basically. So saying if you work third shift and you are off at, it's not third shift work, but 4 a.m.,
Right.
the library's not open 4 a.m., you can go get your books, and it's already done over with, so it's fine, right?
Right, yeah, if
Now
you
you
got
go
a,
pick up your groceries.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
yeah, they got
Amazon,
Yeah,
it's
or
like
Amazon.
I like that.
Amazon,
yeah, so, I
that's pretty
And now, would you
forward thinking there, Rick.
specifically
I like that.
request to have your books put in that?
Yeah, well, that's what
The
we
thing
gotta
is-
figure out is the
thing
how.
is that
Yeah. We
we
gotta
don't
figure
wanna
out.
put everybody's schools in
No,
there.
we could, yeah,
It
we
would
would
have,
have, we would have
that's
to
what I
keep.
mean, you'd
Yeah.
have to.
I mean, you can get like individual little,
I'm
you know,
getting
cute,
it right
kind of like the
now.
little swim
I'm too
locker.
lazy to go
Right?
and stuff.
Yeah, I can-
I order my books.
I can show you.
I love ordering my books. It's like the best thing in the world.
I mean, you should go to Walmart now. I mean, half of it is the fact that it's all been delivered and no one's going into Walmart anymore, so
I don't go to Walmart.
I am, but I like to people watch.
I feel that.
I like to eat. Also.
Sound like the people. It's not,
Good entertainment.
it's not, especially in Walmart.
You need a caterers for
Try Houston Walmart.
Sure. I've been there actually.
Yeah.
Galveston Walmart's where I'm more interested.
Oh my God.
That's a statement.
I'm a statement.
Yeah.
Moving to Galveston, that's a bigger statement.
Yeah.
I'm the beach though.
I would
Yes,
imagine.
the brown water beaches, brown water.
Yeah. No, Galveston is a good place. As a person who was born in Galveston, I can agree.
Okay, I know that.
Yes, unfortunately. No, I'm joking. I'm BOI, right? They say born on the island.
Born what?
On the island. They say claim it like the term is BOI. Born on the island. I'm an islander.
Bahamas was your.
No, it's like Galveston.
Galveston.
Oh man, I took it seriously.
I wish. Listen, if I could just read from, just for the accent alone, I'm okay.
They keep it Haitian together.
That's your answer.
My older daughter's roommate's mom was from.
I don't know if Haiti's pretty jacked up, and I can't.
She was also like outrageously beautiful and stylish.
I'm
So
sure.
I'm always like, can you sit just a little further away from me? No, she was one of my good friends, so.
Always
Oh,
working.
So, this is still,
They have another
Look at the
rose,
box.
you said.
so,
Yeah, I've heard they have the Lowe's. Yeah, I haven't gone to investigate. Yeah, you can buy whatever online and then,
Rick, did you you deny internet? What's going on?
I think I did.
Connected to that.
Wow. They're basically saying, Rick, you've been on the internet too much this month.
Yeah. Your internet usage
Jimmy
is
Gigs.
suspended.
Jimmy Gigs.
So this is a pretty good example.
Ooh, look how cute it is. That can
See,
spruce
look
up
at
the
that.
outside.
Look at that.
So you scan, and you can add on and make them, as
Look at that. That's us, right? That's not the Decatur Public Library.
I know, I kinda like the one with the book.
So yeah, you come in, you scan your, I saw a bunch of them when I was in Chicago at the conference. You come in, you scan your card, your things are in this locker, it pops open. And they come with, some of them come with canopies, and they'll come with lights and cameras, most of them have cameras.
Yeah.
And you can add on to them, make them, as you can see, this one's been added on to, and pretty extensive. So I think that is, the prices come down on them a lot. They were really crazy expensive.
Wow. Look at that.
But the prices come down a lot, and I think it just adds certain nice convenience. And then, the one thing I'm looking at also, which is more of a dream, not a, this I think we're gonna do this year.
Yeah, that's the one that looks probably like it's individual. You can just kind of.
Yeah, I saw probably 20 to 30 of them at different setups at the conference in Chicago, but there's one that is kind of like a library red box.
Oh.
That isn't really, it's like, yeah, this is one more like, this can go like in a mall or something, and there's just a selection here. The one I saw, I think, is this one, where you do is you scan your card, and then the door pops open. Say, you take out this book and this book, close the door, and then it does a rescan. Whatever's gone gets charged to your account. You can also return books in. You scan your card, the door pops open, you put your books in, the machine scans what's in there, anything that's added gets taken off your account. So, but those are considerably more expensive than these whole lockers, which are
More or less made up.
The whole lockers are less than 30,000 for the first set. Now, if you want to add on, it's gonna, you could spend 60.
So that one right here, say capital.
This one's probably going to be around. The cheapest I saw was 10, and the most expensive was like 25.
I said boys.
Yeah.
Now, I can see putting a couple of those out like at the hospitals
Yes.
and one at the little.
These are more expensive. These ones are these browsable ones. This is, the lockers are cheaper. These browsing ones are more like 60. Yeah.
I would say the browsing one would be something that we would test out, put it somewhere,
And
if
you
we
need
got
more,
it.
and there's more labor costs. So if you put one, John Phillips always used to say, I'd love to have one of those out in front of University Service, so you put them at, you put them at,
Random location.
well, he owned it.
I know, I'm not saying.
But if you put them, you put one at Kroger, you put one at, or you put one at gas station, you put one at Walmart, somebody's got to go load it up.
We don't have,
So there's labor costs associated with that.
are any of the Walmarts in Decatur? I don't think they are they?
Yeah,
Those
are.
Well, I would say two,
No,
well,
I thought the one.
it said Mount Zion, but it's in Decatur.
It's in
That's
Decatur.
also
Well, I know, that's what I'm saying, they say Zion, but it's
Yes,
Decatur's.
That's for very specific reasons. The city wants the tax benefits, but they also want to get the allure of getting everyone that doesn't live in the city lives there. So that's why they're not in the middle of town and they're in the outskirts.
So anyway, this isn't a huge expense, but it's
I like the color. More fun.
but there's also the other expenses, probably not on this fiscal year, but we need to maybe set some money aside for.
But I do believe that having one here, putting it outside for after hours would be a good test run to see how much traffic, how much people actually use it. Plus you gotta think about I don't think it would be too much extra for advertising purposes. I don't think it would cost too much more to advertise if that's something you do. I think we would put out the newsletter,
I don't think I would put
email.
it right outside the library though, I would put it, the vending machine one.
No, I mean the
Oh,
locker,
that
the
thing.
locker,
The
yeah.
locker one definitely.
Yeah, the vending machine is kind of a remote,
Yes,
something, you
yes.
would do like remote.
Yeah, and the locker one doesn't really add any labor. I mean, we're already processing holes. We just walk them outside instead of
Just put them in the locker.
And it adds to patient privacy.
Yeah.
Maybe the library's open, I still want to go there instead of going into the,
Yeah.
so anyway, back to the projection, where I've kind of tamped down my projection for revenue on PPRT, but I still think we're going to exceed the 852,000 that we budgeted.
Well, we gotta make a quick decision. I mean, we only have 6 months to find some way to both
Yes.
approve and spend the money.
Well, the other option though is to roll it into the fund next year with a plan to spend it next year. That's perfectly okay.
Okay.
As long as we
have
as
a
long as
plan
we
to
have
spend.
As long as we have a plan, because I got to report to the state.
Yeah, that's what I was saying, right? I mean,
What
they give you a pass for having the plan. That's fine.
Every year they ask me, okay, do you have any unexpended monies? If so, what for?
Okay.
So we're well below on salaries, and we're only adding a half-timer, so that's something that we can consider. And let's see,
So do we know where we got the unexpected funds from? Like in which group? Do we know that we got more than we projected we would receive in?
You mean what we got right before we passed the
Right.
budget last year?
Right.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
well,
the-
what I'm saying, so you said, looks like we're gonna get an extra 200,000. Do we know, I mean, like you said, I mean, we won't really know until the end of the year, but it's looking like we may end up with that. Do we know, or having a general idea of where those extra monies would come from?
Yeah, it's because the real estate taxes at the last minute, right before we had to pass the budget, were rosier than, yeah.
Okay, good.
I paid an extra $1,000 on my taxes this year, that's not really
Then right to the library. We appreciate your support, sir.
Well, I don't think it went right to the library.
I know. I took a little bit over at the county.
Yeah.
She took a little bit of the school district.
I paid a very, very, very large.
I also want to point out budgeted, for grants,
Oh, yeah.
both revenue and expenditure. And
Placeholder.
it's essentially a placeholder in case we get a grant. I don't want to get a grant and not be able to spend it. Yeah, we could talk about that. But I'm beginning to wonder whether that was wise, because one thing, there are certain things that you get charged based on the size of your budget, sliding scale, and it makes our budget look artificially large.
Okay,
So,
that works. All right, well, I mean, I'm good with it as long as we
I
can,
didn't know that.
I would like to try to get some form of, we can, I guess, start general discussion about it to some degree at the full council. And then, you know, I mean, we don't have to have anything definite, but we can at least start a discussion, get some, the whole group thinking
I'll
about
bring some
ways to
ideas.
do it. Okay. All right, anybody want to make a motion to
We
approve?
don't have to approve this one.
All right. So, now, new business, C, increase, oh, this last little paper. So now we would like to just have a discussion. Our council feels like he needs more money. So he said he hadn't been paid he hadn't had an increase since 2016.
and I think it was actually 2015. That's when we hired them. It's been $150 an hour since we hired them. This doesn't seem, it doesn't seem egregious to me. It seems like it's still a pretty low hourly rate for.
So this is always something that I found intriguing. Now, what do we average an hour that we pay council?
$150.
No, I'm saying like the hour accumulation. Like we say,
How much time?
we hire council for,
It just
400
depends on
hours,
It depends on what we need.
I would say we're usually spending somewhere around $500 or $600 a month. So that's,
oh, that's
And
high.
there was a point
yeah.
in 2019 and
There was a lot
18
more.
where we were spending about $20,000, $30,000 a year.
It depends on
extra
if you've got a big,
lawyers' fees to deal with FOIAs and other things.
and if you've got a big project, you know, they're,
That's all you got.
yeah. If you've got a big project, that can be,
Okay.
you know, like if you're doing some bidding, you know, but for the most part, just in normal business,
Right.
they do a couple hours of work,
Okay.
a few hours of work for us.
And there have been some very valuable things that they have done for us, like, I know that with the FOIAs,
They'll
They
vet
helped us.
policies.
they also helped us when we were reported to the state, and we actually didn't deserve to be, they got us
So they
a
did the job.
favorable judgment, yes.
Okay, I mean, that's fine. So I mean, I'm okay. I mean, just looking at the 2016 alone was enough justification for me to agree. They only asked for $15 more. So is that 165 they're proposed? It looks like they're asking for, you know, I mean, whoever this is Jordan. I mean, it seems like it's on private. Well, he's a partner, senior partner at the firm. So.
Yep.
Yeah. So Jordan.
I don't know, my new old.
It's not bad. I mean,
He's just a little bit older than me, actually. It's not.
Yeah. And he's,
it's not one of the guys in suits, is it? You know,
he's done a good, I've hired him to handle stuff for me personally too,
Nice.
because I think he does a good job. So.
Okay. So,
I make a motion
Right,
that
just-
we raise the pay for the lawyer and accept their bid for 165. Yeah.
so why would you not increase the budget? You just said.
That's what they asked for, we're not doing any more than what they asked for.
Wow, Scrooge.
It's like a business thing.
I would
Exactly.
entertain
I like
175,
you now.
but they said 165.
And took that for you to like.
I'll make sure Jordan doesn't watch this.
Yeah.
Right. So, I guess all in favor of it. So, oh, you
Wait,
didn't
so
make a
nobody
motion?
seconded?
Anybody
She
want to
did.
second?
Oh, you seconded it? Oh, good. I
Okay.
didn't hear it, sorry.
All in favor of accepting his rate increase to 165?
Go on.
Is this something?
It's
Oh,
money.
it's money. All in favor, I'm sorry, Emily? I'm sure. Mr. Perez, Carl, Alana,
Aye.
Sophia? I would not like to counter, so I will accept the 165. All right, so motion so passed. Now, for any other business, I did have something that I wanted to talk about for other new business, and and it is these tables.
You're not
the-
leaving.
The conference rooms.
Okay, good. I thought you were going to say you were leaving.
I mean, that's
I
like
was
at the
like,
end of
no.
the year, we'll talk about that.
Not
But,
going anywhere.
Back to the island.
yeah. Man, you don't call it an item, man. It's a
I
stopgap.
will stop watching it.
These conference tables are.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm saying, is there some kind of way we can, not just this, but like all of, I think, except downstairs, I think downstairs they have newer, because they just kind of.
That's, our designer is, slash architect is coming here, Tuesday. She's got a proposal for a new table and chairs in here and all the furniture out on the.
It's almost as if the mayor and Michelle knew that we were seeking to do so. They're like, oh, you guys are not the way it is. We had a meeting with the mayor and some city staff last week, and they came in and were acknowledging how nice our table
Yeah,
was.
Michelle's like.
Here?
Yes.
This
Yeah, have you been, I know you've been in their conference.
They
It's a
didn't,
lot nicer.
they didn't see the stains and the watermarks on the table?
It's small,
Yes.
yes.
They can have it if they really want.
Right?
I don't know if they would fit in your room.
They
Where?
can have it though.
I work right downtown.
Well, I don't say it's downtown, I'm at North American headquarters. You walk in there, it's state of the art.
You were afraid he was on?
We'll, are you talking about right here at
We
the,
don't have nice things out here. We got the nice building, that's about it.
see, you need
Stuff
Jeff.
inside it.
Jeff is here, Jeff
You
could
guys have a
fight.
good lunch though. I went there for lunch once.
I'll send you the pictures of what she's got proposed for here. Looks, it's
looks
kind of
amazing.
sleek and modern.
We're gonna get like the little table speakers with the camera. See, that's what we need.
So that kind of stuff, those are the kind of add-ons we could take a look at. I mean, I thought the foundation was great to put these in every meeting room,
Right.
but, you know, those can also be enhanced.
Well, so if you have the panoramic camera, you have that meeting up, I mean, it projects up. You have panoramic, and you have the, you can bring your laptop in here, the little dongle that plugs
I
right
really
on
do
into
not
it.
want to see myself in the camera.
What?
It's bad enough that, oh.
But they can't, so this is my issue with that. They really can't see you, I
Okay,
mean,
I'll sit
barely.
like this.
barely.
They can see me.
So
Jacob will be watching the footage after this.
I have looked at, I
Sophia was out of me for
Those are not,
35 minutes.
and they're not that expensive anymore. They used to
They're
be.
not, right.
He's in the locker room, Tyler's head with the
Yeah.
iPad.
I used to watch
watching
school board meetings as we were in the meeting. When we used to be live, so I could keep up with the comments that people would comment. But we don't do that anymore, so.
Okay, so that,
People like live tweet school board meetings.
They used to.
yeah, I mean, you know, we have a Twitter handle, you can be like, oh, this is wild.
What happens? Dennis.
Now it's Threads.
Oh, man.
Hey, did you guys see, I sent you a schedule of the
Yes,
commercial?
I saw
Is that
that.
the
That was
email?
awesome.
Yes.
Well, no, no.
Sophia's acting debut.
It's not my review. He's the
Yeah,
guy.
So we changed it to a different person, I thought you were
I'm
doing it.
not in it, no.
So wait, what, I thought you were doing the PBS, this is not PBS, is
It
it?
is, Carl did it.
So when did we change this from you to Carl?
That happened in what?
It happened in March.
Wow.
So like January, February.
No, I think we changed it like the end of February.
Well,
like
yeah, we
right
shot
before.
it early April.
Yeah.
I guess she said since we weren't getting Dennis Quaid, she's like, oh.
No,
I get an email the other
He
day.
looks good in it.
I get an email the other day from a Dennis Quad.
Oh, it's so good.
I'm like, what? Dennis is, I'm like, oh, it's Quad.
You was
Yeah.
getting spammed, somebody
No,
tried
Carl
to
looks
sandbag.
And they had to walk down the stage. I would have tripped. There's no way I could talk and walk down those stairs like
He's
that.
a politician.
I'd have to
He's
hold
used to it.
this, yeah.
He's used to it.
I don't- I have-
Always
I would
been
have
rumored
hold
to
the
be excellent.
railing. It's
not an
It
accident.
was good. It was me.
It's
Yeah,
not
I know
an
we already
accident.
closed this, but I have a question, really just how this works. So this blanket PO on this one, so I just,
That's why
is
we
it
have
all
yours
under
here.
this check number?
The spirit of
Because
Jeff
it's this
Lee.
line and this
That's
line
why
for the same
I-
amount, so it's all under that check number for the blanket PO?
Yes.
Okay.
And there'll be more than, you know, Amazon, it could be supplies, equipment, you know,
Yep.
books.
The spirit of Jeff.
I would make a motion to adjourn.
No.
Second.
You're allowed to?
Yeah, all in favor?
Aye.
Adjourn. Bye, Michelle, we missed you so